Welcome, everybody, back to Piscean X05 Astrology. Really quick before you jump into this video, with peace and love, subscribe, like, comment, and react and share my videos. Keep me in the algorithm with peace and love. We appreciate you. And on this channel, we teach you free astrology. So, in this video, I want to talk about Camp David. So the true work of a chronocrator, synthesizing multiple distinct astrological traditions to illuminate a single moment in time, we will apply the four systems outlined to a significant event of the last 100 years. The event selected for this analysis is the signing of the Camp David Accords on September 17th, 1978. This moment, which led to a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, is a powerful subject for analysis as it involves themes of diplomacy, transformation, and historical destiny, all of which are central to the four traditions we are employing. Below is the analysis structured according to our specifications, and you'll see what those are very soon. So first of all, with our analysis of Camp David Accords, we know September 17th, 1978 is our critical date. So we look at our event and our chart data. Our event, signing of the Camp David Accords, September 17th, 1978, approximately 10 p.m. EST, based on the time of the formal signing ceremony in the White House, East Room, Washington, D.C. And here's our exact coordinates. And we have our Hellenistic analysis, the Catholo general fate. So this analysis uses the whole sign house system and the general fate Cthulhu principles of Vitius Valens, focusing on the chart's core structure and planetary condition. So how do we do this? Well, the natal chart of the event. We see it has 7 degrees Taurus ascendant. And the ruler of the ascendant, the chart ruler, is Venus due to that. All right. Sun is 24 degrees Virgo in the 5th house, Moon 17 degrees Aquarius in the 10th house, Mercury 1 degrees Libra in the 5th house, Venus 14 degrees Scorpio in the 6th house, Mars 0 degrees Leo in the 4th house, Jupiter 13 degrees Leo in the 4th house, Saturn 3 degrees Virgo in the 5th house. So already off the bat, what do we see here? We see that there's a Taurus ascendant, right? Oops, let's do this. So Taurus rising with the sun in Virgo and moon in Aquarius. So already that's Earth and the sun and the moon. And the sun and the ascendant. And the moon is air. And we notice that sun is in the 5th house in Virgo and moon is in Aquarius in the 10th house. So not only is sun in the 5th house, you have Mercury in the 5th house, as well as Saturn in the 5th house. We have Mars in the 4th house with Jupiter in the 4th house. We also have moon in the 10th house on its own, and then Venus in the 6th house on its own. All right. So general fate, Cthulhu. The general fate of this event is determined by the condition of its chart ruler, the ruler of the sect light, and the planetary configurations. So, the chart ruler is Venus. As the ascendant is in Taurus, Venus is the sovereign of this chart. She's placed in Scorpio, her sign of detriment, in the whole sign's 6th house. This immediately places the core themes of diplomacy, peace, and relationship, Venus, in a position of weakness and conflict, detriment, in a house of service, labor, and conflict, 6th house. So the general fate indicated is one where the pursuit of harmony is inherently fraught with difficulty, mistrust, and requires immense labor to manifest. This is a peace that will be hard won and constantly under threat. Then we look at sect and lights. This is a night chart, sun below the horizon. So the moon is the sect light. The moon is in Aquarius, and it's in the 10th house of kings, leaders, and public reputation. It's applying square to Jupiter and Mars in the 4th house. The end of the matter, homeland, and opposition is critical. The general fate indicated is that the public standing and emotional legacy of the agreement, moon in the 10th house, will be shaped by a tense, dynamic, and potentially combative relationship square between expansion benefit Jupiter and action conflict Mars regarding the homelands, the fourth house. The piece is forged from conflict, and its success is tied to the leader's moon management of their own national bases. So, Valens' general fate. Applying Valens techniques, the general fate would also be seen in the placement of the Dodekatomorios in the chosen lot. However, for brevity, the core fate is this: a deeply flawed but necessary piece, debilitated Venus, that serves the interests of public image and legacy, moon in 10th, but is perpetually challenged by the unresolved conflict-laden energies of the homeland populations, Mars, Jupiter, and the fourth house squaring the moon. All right. We're going to talk more about VTS valence techniques in another video. It's kind of like a study guide on them that we'll do. Study guide on valence techniques. All right. Then we look at our Arabic analysis for Daria and the lots. And the section isolates the specific departments of life activated at the time of the signing using the Persian Arabic for Daria technique and the Arabic parts, lots. So for Daria's Time Lord periods, the Ferdaria system assigns rulership of broad life periods to the planets with shift based on rather the chart is diurnal or nocturnal. As established, this is a nocturnal chart. So, here's what we mean, right? Our current major for Daria for 1978 for a nocturnal chart, the sequence begins with the moon. The periods are moon, 9 years. All right, the sun, 10 years. Mercury, 13 years. Venus, 21 years. Let's change these colors. Mars, 7 years. Jupiter, 15 years. And Saturn, 11 years. So we calculate for 1978 to find the exact year. One would need the precise age of the event from the date of the nativity of the subject. In this case, the subject is the nascent peace process. For the sake of this demonstration, we will consider the event's own chart as its birth. However, for a historical process like a treaty, we might consider the quote-unquote birth of the modern conflict. A more direct application is to see which planet is the lord of the year in the solar return preceding the event. Nevertheless, the Ferdaria of the event's own chart suggests that the peace accords were born under a moon Ferdaria, highlighting the public, the masses, and the emotional legacy of the leader's actions. Now we look at the Arabic parts, lots. 2 lots are particularly relevant to this event, being the lot of fortune, pars fortunae, calculated for a night chart as lot of fortune equals the ascendant adding the moon subtracting the sun. So the ascendant 7 degrees TA and moon 17 degrees AQ, subtracting sun 24 degrees VI equals what? Well, this calculation places the part of fortune in the early degrees of Sagittarius, approximately 2 degrees Sagittarius. And this falls in the whole sign 7th house of open enemies, treaties, and partnerships. The specific department of life activated is the treaty itself, with Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, in the 4th house. suggesting the fortune of the accord is tied to the homelands. And then we see our lot of victory, pars victoria. The lot of victory, or lot of the king, is often calculated as the ascendant, adding Jupiter, subtracting Saturn for a nocturnal chart. Ascendant, 7 degrees Taurus, adding Jupiter, 13 degrees Leo, subtracting Saturn, 3 degrees Virgo, and it equals approximately 17 degrees Libra. This would fall in the whole sign 6th house, Scorpio. The 6th house is a house of servants, day-to-day labor, and also of conflict. The specific department of life activated is the military and diplomatic labor required to secure the victory, as well as the conflicts, 6th house, that the victory is meant to resolve. And we synthesize the lots confirming that the specific departments of life activated were the formal treaty, 7th house via lot of fortune, and the military diplomatic efforts and conflicts that define the process, 6th house via lot of victory. Now we do our Renaissance analysis, primary directions. Well, this section uses a quadrant house system, Placidus, to calculate the primary directions active at the exact moment of the signing, interpreted as the soul's initiation. We look at the Placidus chart for the event. We see the ascendant, 13 degrees Taurus, midheaven MC, 9 degrees Capricorn, sun, 24 degrees Virgo, in the 6th house Placidus, moon, 17 degrees Aquarius, in the 10th house Placidus. We look at our active primary directions. We note that primary directions involve moving the chart forward in time by rotating the celestial sphere. The arc of direction in degrees of right ascension, also known as RA, corresponds to years of life. For this event, we are at its birth, so the directions active are essentially the conjunctions and aspects already present. However, we can look at the directions that perfected to bring the event into being. A key direction to consider is the converse direction of the midheaven MC. We look at the direction, the MC directed conversely, moving backwards to a conjunction with the moon. We calculate the moon's position in right ascension. RA is approximately 328 degrees. The MC's RA is approximately 282 degrees. The arc is 46 degrees. In primary directions, 1 degree of arc is often, but not exclusively, interpreted as 1 year of life for the entity. For an event, this suggests that 46 years prior to the event, or units of time depending on the entity, the seed or soul of this piece was initiated, perhaps tracing back to the creation of the State of Israel in 1948. So the soul's initiation, this direction suggests that the very core identity and public purpose MC of this peace process was to initiate a profound connection with the public, the nation's emotions, and its legacy, moon in the 10th house. The soul of the accord was not merely about political borders, but about the emotional and public acceptance of peace. It was an initiation into the collective psyche of the nations involved. Now let's talk about Mesoamerican analysis, the long count, and tonal pohali. This section converts the Gregorian date of the event into the Maya long count and interprets the tone of the Ketun and the day in the 260-day tonal pohali Zolkin. So here's our long count conversion. As we can see on screen, using the GMT correlation constant, 584,283. The long count for September 17th, 1978 is calculated as follows. So our starting point is August 11th, 3114 BCE. The total days between that date and September 17th, 1978 is approximately 1,878,539 days. Back done 144,000 days. We divide this number and it equals 13 backdons. So the remainder is 6,539 days. We look at Ketun, which is 7,200 days. You do our math, becomes 0 Ketuns. The remainder is 6,539 days, and this means we are in Baktun 13, Ketun 0. Tun is 360 days. We do our math, it equals 18 tons. 6,480 days, the remainder is 59 days. And finally, Enal, 20 days. We do our math, it comes to 2 Enals, 40 days. The remainder is 19 Kin. Kin is 1 day, 19 Kin. So our long count is 13.0.0.18.2. And now we look at the tone of the Ketun. We are in Ketun 0 of Baktun 13. A Ketun is a 7,200 day period, approximately 20 years. The Maya saw each Ketun as having a distinct personality based on his closing day. Ketun 0 closes on a day named Ahau. The prophecies associated with a Ketun ending on Ahau are often about rulers, political power, and the public face of authority. The tone of this Ketun, 13.0.0.0.0 to 13.0.18.0.0 is one of foundation and setting of political thrones, which is highly resonant with the Camp David Accords, where world leaders begin. Carter, Sadat were reshaping the political landscape. All right. The tonal Pahuli, Zolkin. Well, now we find the specific day within the 260-day sacred calendar. First, we find the number of days since the start of the current calendar round cycle. Total days, K, equals, and in calendar round cycles, 52 years of 365 days. We do our math, 98 full cycles with a remainder, R, of 16,819 days. This R is the day count within the current 52-year cycle. All right. And to find the Zolkin date, here's what we do. We divide R by 13. So it becomes 1293 full cycles, 1,293 full cycles, with a remainder of 10. Divide R by 20. We do our math. We get 840 full cycles with a remainder of 19. So the starting point of the cycle is 4 Ajah. The numbers increase by the remainder of the 13 count. 4 plus 10 equals 14. We reduce this to the 1 through 13 cycle by subtracting 13, giving us 1. Since 14 subtracting 13 equals 1, the day names, 20 of them, increase by the remainder of the 20 count. The day after Ajah's Imix, second, then Ik, third, etc. After 19 steps from Ajah, we arrive at the day Kawak. So, interpretation of the tonal Baholi. The day 1 Kawak, 1 storm, is a day of powerful transformative energy. Kawak is symbolized by a storm cloud or a bolt of lightning. It represents thunder, rain, and the raw elemental power of change. It is a day of cleansing, of upheaval, and of the necessary destruction that precedes renewal. The number 1 signifies the beginning, the source, and the unity of purpose. For the Camp David Accords, this is an extraordinarily potent symbol. The peace was a storm breaking over a region long plagued by conflict. It represented a powerful cleansing and transformative event, a fundamental change in the political weather. It was the beginning, one, of a new, albeit tumultuous, era. All right. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, like, comment, share it, and I will see you in my next one teaching you more astrology for free.